Hello, my name is April. If you're familiar with My Heart Creative, you may have talked to me. I typically prefer to be behind the scenes. This is my very first ever Facebook Live video, even on a personal level. So I'm sorry. And also I have a second apology. The ragweed is terrible. So if you have any trouble understanding me, just let me know and I'll repeat myself. But sorry about the scratchy voice. So let's get onto it. Content is typically, in my experience over the past few months here, where the creation of a website starts to slow down. I think this is for two reasons. Number one, I think some people get a little overwhelmed at the thought of creating their content. And number two, I think some people just don't think it's important. And first of all, there's nothing to be overwhelmed about. Content's fun. Well, I think it's fun, but I'm a weird, nerdy girl, so you can't really take what I say too seriously on that. Also, content is important. It's just as important as design. So, let me explain why. When we have people come first talk about website designs, we give them a form to fill out. And one of the questions we ask is to give us a list of websites they like and why they like them. And typically this comes down to the design. People like the look of something. They like the light colors. They like the darkness. They like the contrast. They like the size of the pictures, etc., etc. People don't really mention the content. But you could have a beautiful design. If you don't have good content, you're wasting it. Amy, who, if you don't know Amy, you really should. She is a fantastic designer. Amy creates design that goes with content to direct your viewers to the correct content, to make them apt. It all goes together and it's all very important. And it's always a lot of fun. So let's start with the first step in planning your content. All right, know your purpose. And when I say I write, I type, so excuse the little offset thing there. My finished product is much better. Your purpose is going to affect how you present your content, your tone, your persona. So the first thing in knowing your purpose, if you're an established brand, this should be easy for you. If you're just getting started, you need to know this information anyway. So you have to think about who your audience is. This is going to be your demographics. So think about it. What are you doing? Are you selling a product? Are you a nonprofit? Is your audience young? Do they value saving money? Do they value ecological planet-saving ideals? Do they value family? Do they have children? How much money do they make? Just all of these demographics will determine your audience. You need to get inside their mind and find out how you can relate to them. Second, you have to consider your message. It needs to be clear and people need to understand it. And it needs to tie back to your audience. If your audience is somebody who values local products, your message needs to state clearly that you have a local product. If your audience is somebody who values giving back, your message needs to explain how what they're doing will be giving back. So that brings us to the third point, which is your goal. Your goal. If you are a company that sells products, your goal is obviously to make a sale. If you're a nonprofit, you want a donation, you want somebody to volunteer, you want somebody to share your mission so other people will volunteer or give you money. Think about all of this, because once you understand your audience and you can create a message that speaks directly to them, you'll work your goal. So let me give you an example of this. We have this great client who has an amazing product. And the first time I saw this product, I said, I think I want that. Well, after working with the client, she said in her content, made from reclaimed materials. And now I went from, I think I want that product, to I have to have that product. See, audience, me, weird girl who will take the garbage and make sure that there is absolutely no plastic in it before we take anything out. Message, she uses reclaimed materials. Goal, she has a sale. It's that simple. So this is where you need to start your work and just keep your message short and sweet. I will tell you that. You can't be everything to everybody. Your message needs to speak to your audience. There's a good chance you'll reach people outside of your demographic. For example, I'm going to want to get my mother this product also, but she's not the demographic. But you cannot be everything to everybody. Be clear, be straightforward, and say who you are and what you're doing. Okay, so I'm hesitant to go into the second point because it might be a little traumatic for some of you who didn't like high school. But I'm a big nerdy girl, so this is fun for me. So here we are. Second point, you have to do research. I know, all the nerdy people like me are really happy, and the rest of you, I think I can hear groaning through the screen, so stop it. It's really not that bad. Don't think about high school research. You're not going to be graded on it. No teachers with red ink, looking at your stuff and making sure it's formatted correctly. Just do some basic research. And what this research is you're going to need to go look at websites. Look at specifically your competitors, see what they're doing, and just look at some other websites that you're interested in. The first thing you're going to do is skim, because that's how most of us look at websites. And then you're going to have to read it. And there's a reason for this. Skim it because when people look at your websites initially, they skim. They look at the headers, they look at anything in bold, anything that the nice design has been designed to draw your attention to. Then you need to actually read it, because this could affect how you feel about the website later. After you've done this, I need you to think about a question. Oops. I can spell, I promise. Sorry about that. Why do you like it? What is it about the website that you really like in its content I'm talking about? And then, while you're doing that, do you trust it? And you have to consider, why do you trust it? Why don't you trust it? If people are making a big decision, such as a large purchase, a large investment, thinking about giving a large chunk of money to a charity of their choice, they want to be able to trust who they're working with. And this is where content can really help you. If you have a lot of outdated information, if you have just a lot of words that don't really say anything about who you are, what you stand for, you can move those great, bold moments to, I don't know if I want to work with this person. Trust is essential when someone's going to be doing business with you, and that has to come through in your content. So, see, it's really not so bad. It's really, all of this research shouldn't take you too long, so don't panic. All right. Once you get all of this background done, I know this doesn't seem like I'm dealing with your content. Now we reach to that point. Do we have any questions, comments? Okay. Your content. Now it's time to create an outline. You've thought about this. Outlines are so much fun, but again, ignore me. I'm a nerdy person, but if you need help with an outline, please call. It's time to organize. Can you see that? All right. First things first, you need a list of all the topics you think you should address in your website, and you need to organize them in order of importance. What should go right on the front page? What should go further back? And when you're doing this, it's okay. This list is not set in stone. See, here's my little outline. I switched things around. Just go with it. Go with what you think. This can change. Any part of this can change at any time in the process. So the next part, you're going to need to create a sitemap. So if you're familiar with websites, you probably know what a sitemap is. If you're not, like I haven't been for most of my life, I'm going to introduce it to you. So you have your little home page, and then up on your top level navigation bar are the most important things. I'm going to say as a general rule, you're going to want definitely going to want these three probably: about, products or services, and contact information. Now, contact information usually is not always at the top. Please put it at the top. Please. I used to be a research assistant. This is so hard to find if it's not up at the top. So I beg you, do that. But this is your top level. And when you're organizing this and you're creating your sitemap, go back here and think about this. Your audience and your message, and this is where your tone's going to come into play. Is your audience someone who's going to want a professional tone? You know, this is probably great for manufacturing or medical. If you're going with a more relaxed thing, you might want to say, check out our products, about us, check in, or anything else, something fun, something professional. Again, think about your audience when you're making these. And again, no pressure, you can always make changes. So then, and another idea. It's a good idea to go about 3 levels deep. That's just a general rule. There are exceptions. But people don't usually want to go click, 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 click. 3 levels you can usually get people to go through. So, you know, about you're going to have so on your about page, you could click down, and then this is your 3rd level. Your history, your team. And really, there's not a reason to go much further than that. Yeah. Again, there could be. This is just a general rule. There are always exceptions, but keep it pretty simple where people have an easy to navigate webpage. So, just a general way you can start your sitemap. And again, it's very basic. You can take this to reflect you and your company and who you are. So, also, one thing I want to mention while we're talking about your sitemap and your topics, brief mention, SEO. You should, in an ideal world, think about your SEO. I know, search engine optimization. Please don't fall asleep on me. It can be interesting. Just check out one of Sam's videos, go to one of his webinars, ask him a question, have a meeting. But this is a good place to start thinking about what keywords you're going to want to put in your website, because you want them to be as high as they can go, and you want to get them in there from the beginning. It's easier to start out with your keywords in your content than to go back and start replacing them. Well, you can still do that, but it's just an easier process if they're already there. Plus, you're going to be ahead of the game when you actually do your SEO program. So, once you get yourself all outlined and organized, my favorite part. Start drafting. Yay. Okay. Yes, I know I'm weird. Okay. Drafting is fun. This is where you get to be really creative in your work. And this is where you get to try new things and see what actually works for you. So the first step, okay, I'm going to have to give you one little piece of knowledge when you're doing your draft. You have seconds to get your audience's attention. Depending upon the study you're looking at, you have about 7 to 10 seconds before whoever's clicked on your page decides you're boring and they want to leave. So, what you want to do is start out with something catchy. Back in high school, they used to call this the hook. Now, the hook, that could be statistics, that could be a question, that could be a story, that could be anything that just grabs your reader's attention, but you need to do it fast. It doesn't hurt also to bold things. Okay. Now, the second thing I have to say, be original. That's going to hit on 2 different levels. First of all, oh, hi Joe, welcome. Okay, be original. This, number one, let's get it out of the way. This does apply to plagiarism. Plagiarism is wrong. And here we always try to do the right thing, so I will never encourage you to plagiarize. And plagiarism will also really hurt you with Google. They have their little Google robots that go through the websites, and if they see any plagiarism, it's a big mark against you and your website's in big trouble. So don't do it. It's not worth it. And also, it makes when a writer sees her work on someone else's website and she's not credited, she gets cranky. So just be nice to the writers, okay? All right. So, also, under Be Original, I'm going to say be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Yes, you need to create your tone and your message for your audience. But tone is not that hard. Let me give you an example. When I'm at work, my bosses actually enjoy the fact that I'm weird and quirky. So I will talk to them and I will have fun and say weird, quirky things. Now, when a client calls on the phone, I'm going to be much more professional. I will be nice and engaging, but my tone is going to be much more professional. You know, no inside jokes, except for, Brandon, hi, if you're watching. If not, you should be. Anyway, so, but be yourself. Think about it. You already adjust your tone when you're talking to people. How do you talk in a meeting versus how do you talk to your family? That's just a change of tone. So even if you are changing your tone to suit your audience and your message, you still need to be yourself. It's a real turn-off when you're reading somebody's work and they're not authentic. And you can tell. I can tell, and I know pretty much anybody else can tell too. Think about it. My next thing is about, okay, this is a question we get a lot. How many words should you put on a page? Not that many. You're going to have a lot of beautiful graphics because hopefully you've had Amy create you a beautiful design. So 200 to 700 words is about what you get. And remember, if you get 7 to 10 seconds, you need those words to hit fast and hard. So they hopefully you can get them to read all 700. So this is really not that many words. It's probably, you've probably written this much in a high school paper. And I'm talking about to do the entire website. So pace yourself, break it up. Also, when you're doing your pages, you need to break it up. Remember, people have short attention spans and you need to grab them in. So headings, bullets, subheadings, bold important things. Break everything down. When it's possible, link off. Oh, I'm sorry, plant. Okay. Link off to different pages instead of just writing everything out. You don't want duplicate content also. That's bad SEO. Again, talk to Sam. He can explain that much better than I can. So, and we're going to make this kind of short and sweet, but be flexible. It's great, you know, this organization process and this research, you need to do this, but be flexible. You can get to the point, and I've done this, and I've written so many thousands of pages. Once you get to your draft, what you have organized might not work. It might not feel right. It might just flow incorrectly. Don't try to force it. Change it. It's a draft. It's easy. It's not set in stone. You don't have to live with it forever. And this also goes once you start getting it up on the website. If you start putting your content in and you say, I don't like this on this page, guess what? We can move it. It's really just that easy. So if you allow yourself to be flexible, this should take the pressure off of you to have it all perfect in a very small amount of time. Be flexible, do what works, and above all, be yourself. Be authentic so that people can connect with you and your message. And do we have any questions? Comments? Queries? All right. Well, that's my first live video down. I hope I didn't do anything too awkward, but if you do have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will get back to you when I can. Thank you.